Before we start with interview questions, I want you to go through my ML series. I am covering machine learning concepts step by step. Link will be given in description so that you don't just memorize interview answers. You actually understand the concepts and can answer these questions by yourself. So if you are preparing for an ML engineering interview, make sure you follow the ML series along with this interview question series. And now let's start with our first question. What is machine learning? Machine learning is a way of building systems that learn patterns from data instead of being explicitly programmed for every rule. For example, instead of writing hundreds of rules to identify spam emails, we can train a model using examples of spam and non spam emails. The model learns patterns from the data and uses those patterns to predict whether a new email is spam or not. Machine learning is a subset of AI where algorithms learn patterns from data and use those patterns to make predictions or decisions on unseen data. What are the main types of machine learning? The three major types are supervised learning, unsupervised learning, and reinforcement learning. In supervised learning, we train using labeled data. In unsupervised learning, the data doesn't have labels and the model tries to discover patterns by itself. And in reinforcement learning, an agent learns by interacting with an environment and receiving rewards or penalties. Examples for supervised: house price prediction; for unsupervised, customer segmentation; and for reinforcement, game playing AI. Third is, what is the difference between supervised and unsupervised learning? The biggest difference is whether we have labeled data. Suppose we have customer data and we know whether each customer purchased a product. That's supervised learning. But if we only have customer information and don't know their groups, we can use unsupervised learning to discover groups of similar customers. An interview tip: a simple way to remember it is supervised learning learns from answers while unsupervised learning discovers structure without answers. Fourth question: what is the difference between classification and regression? Both classification and regression are supervised learning problems. Classification predicts a category. For example, is this email spam or not spam? Regression predicts a continuous numerical value. For example, what will be the price of this house? Example for classification: finding a email spam or not spam, fraud or not fraud, disease or not a disease. Regression example will be house price, temperature, sales prediction. Now, fifth question: what is train, validation, and test data? We usually split our data set into training, validation, and test sets. The training set is used to learn the model parameters. The validation set helps us choose things like hyperparameters and compare different models. Finally, the test set is used to evaluate how well our final model performs on unseen data. Simple example: imagine you are preparing for an exam. Training data is like studying practice questions. Validation data is like taking mock test to improve your approach, and the test data is your actual final exam. Sixth question: what is overfitting? Overfitting happens when a model learns the training data too closely, including noise and random patterns. As a result, it performs extremely well on training data but poorly on new unseen data. It's similar to a student who memorizes the exact practice questions but struggles when the actual exam contains different questions. Common ways to reduce overfitting: more training data, regularization, cross validation, data augmentation, simpler model, and early stopping. What is underfitting now? Underfitting is almost the opposite of overfitting. The model is too simple to capture the important patterns in the data. So it performs poorly not only on test data but even on the training data. Example, imagine trying to predict house prices using only the number of bedrooms while completely ignoring location, area, age, and other important factors. The model may be too simple to capture the real relationship. Eighth question, what is the bias variance trade off? This is one of the most important concepts in machine learning. High bias usually means the model is too simple and makes strong assumptions. This can lead to underfitting. High variance means the model is too sensitive to the training data. This can lead to overfitting. Our goal is to find a good balance between bias and variance so that the model generalizes well to unseen data. Easy way to remember: high biases, model is too simple; high variance, model is too sensitive. So, these were the first 8 ML interview questions. These concepts may sound basic, but interviewers frequently use them as a starting point before moving into deeper questions. In next video, we will move one level deeper and discuss loss functions, gradient descent, learning rate, and how a machine learning model actually learns. If you are preparing for ML interviews, follow this series because we will gradually move from fundamentals to advanced ML system and real world interview questions. Subscribe and follow the series so you don't miss the next part.